Your brain is not your ally here. To understand why comfort is so powerful, you need to understand something about how your brain actually works. Your brain has one original job. Not happiness, not success, not fulfillment. Survival. And survival, for most of human history, meant conserving energy. The people who wasted energy on unnecessary effort died. The ones who rested when they could, avoided discomfort when possible, and only moved when absolutely necessary, those people survived long enough to pass on their genes. So when you feel that strong pull toward the couch at the end of a long day, that's not weakness. That's literally thousands of years of biological programming running exactly as designed. Psychologists call one part of this present bias. Your brain gives far more weight to what feels good right now than to what will be good for you later, even when you logically know the future reward is bigger.
That's why the warm bed wins against the 6 a.m. workout. That's why one more episode wins against starting the project. That's why fine wins against better. It's not a character flaw, it's engineering. Your brain is doing what it was built to do. The problem is, you're not trying to survive anymore. You're trying to build something. And the brain that kept your ancestors alive on a savanna is actively working against the life you're trying to create in 2024. Understanding this doesn't fix the problem, but it changes the conversation. You're not lazy. You're running ancient software in a modern world. The question is whether you're going to let that software run your life or whether you're going to learn to override it.
Let me paint you a picture. Two people, both 27. We'll call them Alex and Sam. Same education, same city, same kind of job. Both tired when they get home from work. Alex gets home on a Monday night, exhausted. Sits down, turns on Netflix. I'll meal prep tomorrow. Scrolls for an hour, goes to bed. Sets an alarm they'll snooze. Sam gets home just as tired. Makes a simple meal instead of ordering out. Does 20 minutes of reading. Sends one email they've been avoiding. Goes to bed 30 minutes earlier. Now here's the critical thing.
On that Monday night, the difference is invisible. Nobody can see it. Alex doesn't feel like a failure. Sam doesn't feel like a hero. Both of them wake up Tuesday and go to work. But those small choices are compounding. 6 months later, Alex has slowly drifted further from any version of a goal they once had. Not because of one bad decision, but because of 400 small, easy ones. The habit of choosing comfort has quietly become identity. Sam, meanwhile, has built something. Not dramatically, not perfectly, but consistently. A skill, a habit, a small project, a healthier body, something that wasn't there before. A year later, the gap is visible. 3 years later, it's significant. 5 years later, it's the difference between two completely different lives. And the painful part, Alex didn't fail spectacularly. Alex didn't make one catastrophic mistake. Alex just chose comfort 1,000 times in a row on days that each felt too small to matter. The comfort trap doesn't rob you in one moment. It withdraws small amounts every day, so quietly you don't notice until the account is empty. Most people think procrastination is a time management issue. I need a better schedule. I need a productivity app. I need to manage my hours more efficiently. That's wrong. And understanding why it's wrong might be the most useful thing you take from this video. Procrastination is not about time. It's about emotion. When you avoid a task, you're not avoiding the task itself. You're avoiding the feeling the task produces in you. The fear that you might start and not be good enough. The anxiety of sitting with uncertainty. The discomfort of not knowing how it's going to turn out. So instead of feeling those things, you choose a different feeling. The temporary relief of scrolling, watching, eating, resting. Something that delivers a guaranteed good feeling right now versus a possible good outcome later. Your brain calls this smart. Why risk discomfort for an uncertain reward when I can have comfort right now? But here's what this means practically. Every time you procrastinate on something that matters, you're not just delaying the task. You're training your brain that discomfort is something to be escaped. You're reinforcing a pattern. You're building an identity. I am someone who avoids hard things, one small retreat at a time. And eventually, that identity becomes the cage. You stop seeing yourself as someone who could do the hard thing because you've spent so long proving to yourself that you don't.
This is the part most people miss. We think the problem with the comfort trap is that we're not doing the things we should be doing. But the deeper problem is who we're becoming in the process. Identity is not something you declare, it's something you build through the evidence of your daily behavior. Every time you follow through on something uncomfortable, you cast a vote for the identity. I am someone who does hard things. Every time you retreat into comfort when things get difficult, you cast a vote for a different identity. I am someone who doesn't. Neither happens all at once. It's always accumulation. Think about someone who says, I want to get fit, but consistently chooses the couch. At some point, the story they tell themselves shifts, consciously or not, from I'm trying to get fit to I'm just not the kind of person who works out. That shift is catastrophic because now the behavior isn't just a habit, it's self-concept. And changing self-concept is far harder than changing a habit. The comfort trap doesn't just take your time and your potential. Eventually, it takes your belief that you were ever capable of more. Here's something that might challenge you. Most people watching a video like this will feel inspired. They'll feel the weight of what's being said. They'll recognize themselves in parts of it. They'll feel that familiar pull. Yes, I need to change things. And then, not because they're bad people, not because they don't want better, but because watching the inside gave them enough of the feeling of progress to satisfy the brain without requiring any of the actual discomfort of change. This is called passive consumption masquerading as growth. It's one of the most sophisticated forms of the comfort trap, using self-improvement content as a substitute for self-improvement action. You feel like you're doing something, so the urgency to actually do something quietly fades. So let me be direct with you right now. If you recognize yourself in this video, the real question isn't whether you understand the comfort trap. The question is what you're going to do in the next 10 minutes after this ends. Because that moment, right there, is where the trap either holds or breaks. We talk a lot about regret in the context of big decisions. The career you didn't pursue, the person you let go, the risk you never took. But most real regret isn't built from big moments. It's built from the accumulated weight of all the small moments where you chose fine over better. There's a particular kind of pain that comes in your late 30s or 40s, or sometimes much earlier, when you do the math and realize how much time has passed and how little distance you've covered. Not because life was cruel to you, but because you were comfortable. And comfort, unlike failure, doesn't even give you a story to tell. There's no dramatic turning point, no clear villain. Just years of choosing the easier version of every day until the easier version became the only version. I want you to do something uncomfortable right now. Think about 1 year from today. If you make the same daily choices you made this week, the same defaults, the same retreats,
the same "I'll start Monday," where will you actually be? Not where you hope to be, not the best case scenario. Where will you actually, honestly, realistically be? Sit with that for a second. Because that question, not motivation, not inspiration, not a quote on a poster, is the real engine of change.
Here's the part where most videos give you a 10-step system and a morning routine. That's not what this is. Because the problem was never that you lacked a system. The problem is that comfort is always cheaper, faster, and better feeling than effort. And no system survives contact with a brain that's wired to choose ease. So what actually works? You shrink the cost of starting until it's almost impossible to refuse. Not, "I'm going to work out for an hour today," but "I'm going to put on my shoes." Not, "I'm going to write something great," but "I'm going to write one honest sentence." Not, "I'm going to fix my whole life," but "I'm going to do one hard thing in the next 10 minutes. This sounds almost embarrassingly simple. That's exactly why it works. Motivation is unreliable. It arrives when it wants and disappears without warning. Building a life around motivation is like planning a trip around good weather. Sometimes it cooperates, most of the time it doesn't. What you're actually trying to do is start the action before comfort has time to negotiate. Because here's what happens when you do that consistently. The action creates momentum. The momentum changes how you feel. The changed feeling creates more action. And eventually, slowly, imperfectly, genuinely, something shifts in how you see yourself. You stop being someone who says they'll start. You start being someone who has started. And that identity, "I am someone who moves," is the only real protection you have against the comfort trap. One day, and this day will come whether you're ready for it or not, you will look back at this exact version of yourself. Tired, comfortable, scrolling, telling yourself there's still time. And you'll feel one of two things. You'll either feel grateful that at some point, maybe even right now, you made a different choice, that you took the first small, uncomfortable step, that you stopped waiting to feel ready and just began. Or you'll feel something quieter and harder to
Just the dull ache of knowing you had more in you than you gave. Comfort won't warn you which ending you're heading toward. It never does. It'll just keep feeling fine, day after day, right up until fine becomes the only thing you've ever been. Nobody is coming to save you from this. No crisis will force your hand. No perfect moment will arrive. No version of you from the future can reach back and shake you awake. The only thing that exists is right now, and the one uncomfortable thing you've been putting off. Not Monday, right now. Close this video, go do it. And if content like this, real, honest, psychology first, is what you want more of, subscribe. Not for motivation, for clarity. Because understanding yourself clearly is the most powerful thing you can do. New video every week. I'll see you there.